so funny how I'm watching that and it's just slowly.
Yeah, the monitor's lagging out a little bit.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna do the call. I'm gonna run through the call, and then if the call is okay, then I'm going to do the countdown in, and then we will get going, and I'll turn it over to the host. Okay. You can
Are you? How do you think you're gonna watch this?
I have much worse. I have much more embarrassing.
Okay, guys, I'm going to run the call. If we're okay, we'll go, and I will turn it over to our host.
Hey guys.
I'll turn it over to the host. Host, remember to introduce your guest, and then we're going to go, okay? Okay, here we go. I'm going to run the call. Talent.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cameras.
Ready? Yep.
Sound.
Yep.
Video direction.
Yes.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3. Live from the Juneau Live Studio in beautiful downtown Juneau, Alaska. This is the Juneau School District, Juneau Charter School TV production course, and this is the first broadcast of the B class. I am going to turn it over to our host, Jack.
Hello everybody, my name is Jack Stevens, and today I'm going to be interviewing...
Clay Atoms.
Now, Clay, if I'm correct, you are a chef, right?
Yes, I am.
Right, so where do you work?
I work at the Jorgensen house.
As a chef, what dish is both healthy and fairly easy to cook? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Pretty just like broad.
Yeah, well, sandwiches are pretty healthy and you can easily make them in a rush. There's a lot of things, like meal prepping is pretty nice.
Now, I really like chocolate chip mousse tracks, but what's your favorite dessert?
I like ice cream because of how broad that you can have it. You can have multiple different flavors. You can put it on multiple different foods. It's just really nice in that sense.
Right. Well, that's a good answer. Now, do you know the recipe for ice cream?
Yeah, it's you have to heat cream and milk together, and then
It's gonna be okay, buddy. Gotta heat cream and milk together. And then, do you stir it? What other
you
ingredients
mix
would you
it
add?
with sugar and egg yolks, but if you wanted to make it vanilla or chocolate, you'd have to mix vanilla or chocolate in when you're heating the cream and milk together. And then you can just churn it in your ice cream mixer.
Well, that sounds fairly simple. I will screw it up somehow, though. Now, I've been wondering, is there a common myth or thing that people give advice or say about cooking that isn't entirely true?
Yeah, a lot of people say that if you're cooking like a bird, yeah, cook it well done, a bird or poultry. But really, you just gotta, for a wild animal, like if you go out hunting and you get like a duck or something, you should cook it more like steak, and you can cook it to medium rare.
Sounds good. I would like to know, what is a underrated dessert recipe?
One of them is what you do is like peanut butter sticks, which is, the recipe is you take peanut butter and mix in powdered milk, honey, and then you turn it into sticks and freeze it.
Sounds very good. a secret that most restaurants would rather customers not know about?
One of them is for like, this is mostly like not as going to super fancy restaurants, but like maybe something that's a little less fancy. What they do is some of them freeze their steaks and then cook them so they can have a better looking medium rare or medium well, and make it so much easier and more consistent. But it doesn't taste as good as you cook it like, and sometimes they sous vide, that doesn't do much. Or if you reverse searing tastes like so much better.
So they kind of like sacrifice the looks for.
Well, they sacrifice the taste so they
I
can
mean, they
have better
sacrifice
looks.
the taste to make it look better to the customer. So how long have you been working at the Jorgensen House?
Like a bit, maybe over a month or so, something like that.
And what is your favorite dish to cook?
I really like to make sushi. It's a pretty simple recipe. You can make so many different things. It's not that hard. Yeah. Some of the ones that like when they have the rice on the outside, that's a bit more complicated than like just rolling it up with the seaweed on the outside and the roll. Nigiri is pretty simple. Sashimi is also really easy. That's just raw fish. But never try puffer fish unless it's a pretty good restaurant, because that could kill you, poison you and kill you.
See, I've always heard that making sushi can be really hard, because if you don't prepare it right, it can be very dangerous to eat, right?
Yeah, mostly the fish is, if you don't freeze it or cook it in some way to kill the bacteria that could hurt you. But it's mostly just making rice and rolling it up. You could look like, it's not much more difficult than making a burrito or something like that.
Out of all the dishes that you have had to cook working at the Jorgensen House, what would be the hardest one, or the one that you would say takes the most experience as a cook?
Well, a lot of the dishes, well, I haven't made that many dishes. It's mostly been cleaning there. But a lot of them, they have parts of it that is prepared ahead of time. Like their poached pears, they have their poaching liquid, and they have, like, if there are any pears that they don't poach, they will actually keep those leftovers and have them be frozen. So then you'll have, like, and they poach them for a long time, so they have a deep purple, like, color. And you serve that with ice cream.
Now, seeing as you have enough experience in this field, is there a brand or type of kitchen knife or tool that you would recommend to people at home?
You have to have like a sharp knife. Dull ones surprisingly are more dangerous than sharp ones, and you can cut them. But you should have a wide variety of knives, not just one that you always use. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I would ask the same for like frying pans and pots. Is there a specific brand or kind that you should be looking out for? And if so, are there certain dishes that are better for other types of pots and frying pans?
I like cast iron pans. They're much harder to clean, but they yield a better product. I don't use as many non-stick pans because those usually have like chemicals in them. It's just so much easier to add butter. But pots, I usually just go for like a metal pot or something like that.
So, what do you do to the non-stick pans to work around the fact that, well, they're not non-stick pans?
So a lot of things, like a lot of times when you like get a new like thing, you should season it, which is just like put oil on it and like heat it up. at pretty high temperatures. But for cast iron, you should just add butter and always hand wash it after you use it. Yeah, and it should be ready.
All right. Well, knowing what tools you would recommend using, more about food. When you're cooking, is there a set, different types of seasonings that you use the most, other than, of course, salt?
And pepper.
And pepper.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're trying to make. If you're trying to make something more, let's say, barbecue flavored, I would suggest something like smoked paprika, a bit of salt, and a dash of sugar. It reads a pretty good barbecue thing for like barbecue. Things that have a little bit of heat. It doesn't have to be like extremely spicy or like no spice. Just adding a little bit of heat makes it like 10 times better.
Now, as someone who cooks your own food and is a chef, what's your opinion on lesser quality, like fast food restaurants, such as McDonald's or any of those?
They're like, okay, they're not super great high quality food. You could just go to some place that is like sells you frozen food and just throw it in a microwave. That could be better, but either way, they're not the best for you and not the best food, like in how it tastes. Sometimes I don't even think they're seasoned.
Now then, well, are there any other restaurants that you would recommend?
Some place that tries to cook the food as fresh as possible, like the Jorgensen House where I work, is a great place that it's like really fancy. If there's even a slight, like if it's only slightly, the food's slightly bad, not really slightly bad, but if like a berry's slightly bruised, they'll just say, yeah, we're not going to use that one. Get a different blueberry or something.
Okay. Not sponsored. In terms of vegetables, what would you say is the one that you use the most in just all of the dishes, just in general?
Probably I'd say something like lettuce or tomato. Like I use those the most because lettuce you can use in salads and things. Tomatoes just pretty nice to have and stuff. But then there's also things that I like and try to put in as much stuff as possible. Like I like cucumber and tomato a lot. Those two, which are technically fruit, but have been legalized to be vegetables because you would put them in the fruit salad. Like, yeah, I like those a lot.
Okay. What would you say, in your opinion, is the best way to cook eggs?
Best way to cook eggs, hard boiled is nice if you're just like gonna take that in the morning and go on for a while. But then I really like to have sunny side up eggs or something like that. You can have that with some toast or bread. One of the things I like to have with sunny side up eggs on toast and bread, I just made this randomly because I'm trying to try something new. Sheet toast and you put goat cheese on it and some basil and then the egg, and you can like put some chili flakes on it. It's really good.
It sounds good. I've always really loved hard-boiled eggs, but I've always, in terms of breakfast food, I've always preferred potatoes a little more. Is there a way that you prefer to make potatoes as well?
Yeah, if I'm gonna make potatoes, then I would rather opt for like scrambled or sunny side up or something like that, because you could put the potatoes in the yolks and that's really nice. But how I like to make potatoes is I just season them up, add a little bit of like not just salt and pepper, but some other spices, and then just cook them, and then hopefully they'll get. Well, first you should boil them to get them more soft, or bake up, or just throw them in the microwave and press the potato setting. If you don't want to do that much work, I do that a lot. And just cut them up, season them, put them on like a skillet, cook them. It'll be pretty good.
All right. Well, it seems like it might be close to the end of the broadcast. So we're gonna just, I'm gonna ask just some, outro questions, if you will. Just as a chef in general, do you recommend any new people? What advice do you have to give to people who want to be chefs and get better at cooking?
Well, if you just try and follow the recipe as best to your abilities and try and problem solve. Like if I accidentally mess up ice cream while I'm cooking it with the egg yolks and stuff, and the egg yolks will scramble. But if you just take some not like an immersion blender and some cream, you can blend it back together and it'll be just as tasty.
All right. Well, seems like we're gonna end it pretty soon now. So you were a great guest. Goodbye, everybody. Yippee! I don't know when it ends.
It ended.
It ended?
Hello.